The second presidential debate is coming up in less than a week, and today I'll go over what each candidate needs to do to win, and then I'll predict winners and losers. That's coming up here on the Jonathan Lovegrove YouTube channel. So today I'm going to start by going through what each candidate needs to do to win this debate. But I'm going to start with the two candidates that are struggling, that may or may not be on the stage. Let's start with Doug Burgum. He's struggling with the higher polling criteria to qualify for this debate. If he does make this debate stage, he needs to create distinction. Some areas that he could do that are energy policy. He could focus on those small town values. Those are things he's made part of his campaign, but he really needs to create distinction in a certain area. That's what he needs to be planning. Next up is Asa Hutchinson. He's also struggling with the higher polling requirements, but his big challenge is also to differentiate himself, especially from candidates like Pence. Let's say you're a conservative evangelical Christian in Iowa. You're not a fan of Trump, so you're looking at candidates like Pence and Asa Hutchinson. Hutchinson needs to create a compelling message for why a person like that should vote for him instead of a candidate like Mike Pence that is more notable but is very similar. He has to differentiate and create distinction. Now let's go to the candidates that likely will be on the debate stage, starting with Mike Pence. The Pence strategy should be simple. Lean into the conservative religious right. It's a core audience for Pence, and he needs to embrace it. Now also, Pence has a great opportunity to jab at Trump. Recently, Trump made a statement on abortion. Check this out.
I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that goes too far?
I think what he did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake.
Pence could use that statement to support abortion restrictions and appeal to that further right base. I think it's a great opportunity for Pence, but we will see if he takes it up. Next up is Tim Scott. In the last debate, we saw that Scott struggles at the medium of a debate. Really, Tim Scott needs to enter the conversation more, push himself into the dialogue. At the last debate, he only spoke 7 minutes and 57 seconds. The only people who spoke less than Tim Scott were Asa Hutchinson and Doug Burgum. So Tim Scott has some work to do getting his message on the stage, getting it out there. Next up is Christie, the fighter in the race. Here's what Christie needs to do. He needs to sharpen his attacks against Trump. The thing that makes Christie stand out is his willingness to fight. And he needs to be critical of Trump. It's his only strength is fighting, and it's the only way he's going to make waves. I do think it's important for him to draw differences with Ramaswamy and DeSantis. He really needs to set himself apart because he is more moderate, and if he can make that case while attacking Trump, I think he can garner quite a few of those anti-Trump votes. Next up is Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley needs to repeat her last performance. She had a solid first debate performance. She just needs to stay solid, stay consistent, stay straightforward. She had a few back and forth moments with Vivek. I think that helped her out. She seemed competent. If she can keep up that strong, confident persona, I think she will do awesome during this debate. Next up is Ron DeSantis. DeSantis needs the debate off his record. From a policy perspective, he agrees with many of the other candidates on stage. The way he sets himself apart is his status as a governor. He's accomplished a lot. The argument should be, these others talk, I've walked the walk. That's what DeSantis should say. He should get out there, stand on his record. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy had an excellent first debate. He got tons of attention, he got his name out there, he was aggressive, and he made waves. Here's the problem for Ramaswamy. If he does that debate after debate after debate, it's going to get old very quickly. Vivek has to figure out how to stay true to himself, but also how to tone it down, how to seem presidential reasonable while still being solid on his ideas. That's a hard line for him to toe because he is an aggressive candidate. He just needs to figure out how to be aggressive but also presidential. That's a hard balance. Now let's look at who I think will win this debate. First up, I'm predicting that Ron DeSantis will have a good night. The first debate was decent for him. He did a good job. This debate, he really needs to highlight those policy improvements he's made in his state. If he can do that, I think he'll come out on top. Next up, I think Nikki Haley will be a winner of this event. If she can stay solid, conservative, confident, I think she will look really strong when compared with some of the other candidates. And now we have to talk about the losers. I'm predicting that Mike Pence will have a rough night. The first debate, he seemed abrasive, a little aggressive, and I don't think that played well with his strengths. I think Pence is struggling in this race, struggling to find footing. This is a chance for him to overcome, but I'm expecting him to have a weak night. And here is my biggest prediction of this video. I think Vivek Ramaswamy is going to have a very poor night at the second debate. I could be entirely wrong, but I'm predicting that Vivek will get out on that stage, will continue to be aggressive, will continue to be high energy, and that he's just going to wear out voters. People are going to get tired of this. I may be wrong. Donald Trump is the perfect example of someone being aggressive and succeeding. But I don't think Vivek's Trump, and I'm not sure Vivek can keep up the energy while staying likable. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe before you go and check out this video of Vivek Ramaswamy.